Little girl gives a secret signal to her dog. What happens next stuns the entire courtroom. The courtroom was silent to the point of suffocation, the fluorescent lights on the ceiling casting a cold, tense atmosphere. All eyes were focused on the details of the case, but today the attention was not solely on the testimonies or evidence. A surprising appearance shattered the serious atmosphere. Emily, the 5-year-old girl, petite and adorable, walked into the courtroom. Her light brown hair gently cascaded down her shoulders. Her eyes were bright, but there was something hazy in the girl's gaze that added to the heaviness of the atmosphere. Next to her was Rex, the large, sleek black service dog, with bright eyes that seemed to understand everything. Everyone couldn't help but be surprised when they saw these two characters appear in a courtroom that was meant only for adults. Emily didn't say a word. The girl silently walked in, gently holding the leash of Rex with one hand, and her presence was a poignant reminder of the heartbreaking incident she had once experienced. One could only guess from the serious expressions of the judges, lawyers, and attendees in the courtroom that they were all acutely aware that the girl was the only witness who could bring the truth to this case. The botched kidnapping that Emily had faced not long ago left deep scars in her mind, to the extent that she could no longer utter a single word. Everyone knows that Emily cannot speak for herself, but they all hope that the girl will be able to provide important testimony. And beside Emily, Rex, the loyal service dog, has become an indispensable part of this story. With his strong appearance and incredible protective instincts, Rex is not only Emily's companion, but also an important living witness in this case. Both, though unable to speak, share a strong connection, an understanding that can only exist between humans and animals. Rex has been specially trained not only to protect, but also to assist in emergencies like this. Everyone in the courtroom couldn't help but notice the special bond between these two friends. Sitting across from Emily, Richard Hale, the defendant in the case, showed no signs of worry. Richard is a confident software engineer, always appearing calm and composed. He looked at Emily nonchalantly, as if she had nothing to do with him. From the perspective of a professional man in the technology field, Richard felt he could control the situation. There is no clear evidence, no reliable testimony from a witness who can confront him directly. From Richard's perspective, everything is still just suspicions, baseless rumors. He is confident that he will escape these accusations, especially since Emily's silence could be interpreted as a weakness in the trial. But Emily's appearance today was not simply that of a quiet child sitting in the corner of the room. Although she couldn't say a word, the girl made a special gesture towards Rex, a subtle gesture that only those who truly pay attention can notice. That was not a random gesture, but a clear signal, a message. All eyes in the courtroom immediately turned to Emily, then to Rex, and then back to each other in astonishment. Something has happened. An unexpected turning point has just begun to take shape. When Emily and Rex's eyes met, a tense silence enveloped the room. Everyone felt the change in the atmosphere. Richard, who was confident in his innocence, suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. A small sign from the girl, a brief gesture from Rex, could reveal everything. This case has never been that simple. The line between truth and lies is becoming more fragile than ever. Emily, though unable to speak, is the one holding the key to the truth. And Rex, the dog who witnessed everything, is now not just a loyal protector, but an important witness who could change the course of the entire trial. As soon as Emily signaled, the entire courtroom fell silent. Only Rex, the service dog always by the girl's side, was the first to react. Less than a second later, Rex turned his head towards the defendant, his eyes bright and tense. The dog's fur stood on end, its body stiff like a shield ready to protect. Then the dog began to growl, its sound low but clear, as if warning that something dangerous was about to happen. Not the growl of an ordinary dog, but the growl of a warrior trained to sense changes in the air, in the environment. Surely, this is not a coincidence. The entire courtroom fell silent. No one dared to move. The people sitting around began to look at each other, their faces showing confusion and worry. Their instincts, those who had witnessed countless trials, could no longer deny the unusualness of this situation. All eyes were fixed on Richard Hale, who sat across the room, his face maintaining a cold demeanor, but unable to hide the tremor in his eyes. He raised his head, trying to maintain his composure, but the loss of control began to show. There was only one thing he could feel at that moment, and that was a wave of tension spreading throughout the room. Judge Sullivan, who had witnessed many cases, could not ignore this anomaly either. He was someone accustomed to controlling the atmosphere in the courtroom, but this time he felt as if an invisible force had shattered the usual tranquility of the trial. With a sharp gaze, Judge Sullivan decided to adjourn the trial. "Pause," he ordered, his voice authoritative yet serious. "We need to clarify this situation." He looked towards the investigators, said nothing more, but his eyes spoke volumes. Something bigger was happening. When the trial was adjourned, the atmosphere in the room became even more oppressive. The lawyers, judges, and attendees all stood up, and small conversations began to take place in the corners of the courtroom. But Richard Hale could not remain calm as before. He slumped down in the chair, his hands clenched tightly, his mind spinning with countless thoughts. He should have been free. He had been too confident in his innocence. He was an educated man, a software engineer with a rising career, perhaps the only one in the room who believed he could control everything. But now, as the entire room faced a sign from Emily and Rex, that confidence began to fade. He felt fear creeping into every cell, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. The appearance of Rex, along with the sign from Emily, was not only a shock to him, but also to his entire team of lawyers. They began to exchange whispers with each other, questions arising incessantly. Can they dismiss all the evidence and testimonies in this situation? Richard could no longer maintain his composure. His face turned pale, and his hands trembled despite his efforts to conceal the panic. At that moment, the team of investigators began to return from an adjacent room where they had been tasked with examining and verifying some suspicions related to Richard Hale. And just a few minutes into their work, they uncovered a surprising truth. One of the investigators, while examining the documents related to Richard's car, discovered a surprising connection. A soil sample found in Hale's car precisely matched the soil sample that experts had collected from an isolated cabin in the nearby forest, the site where traces of a kidnapping had once occurred. This connection cannot be overlooked. It creates a new twist in the case, an unexplainable trace, making the entire story about Richard Hale suddenly suspicious. All attention is now focused on this evidence. The soil sample in Richard's car is clearly not a coincidence. The investigators carefully examined the evidence once more, confirming that it was crucial evidence that could force Richard to face a bigger question. They returned to the courtroom, their eyes locked in tense silence. The emergence of this new evidence, combined with Rex's actions and Emily's signs, not only heightened the suspicion, but also shattered Richard's entire confidence. Meanwhile, Richard could no longer maintain his calm demeanor as before. The panic began to clearly show through his every gesture. The chaotic thoughts in his head kept swirling. How could he escape this? The traces he thought he had erased have now come back. Not only the investigators, but now even Emily, the girl he once considered weak, has become the one providing testimony he cannot withstand. He felt as if he was being pushed into a dark corner, with no way out. Before Emily's life was turned upside down by the unforgettable, horrific event, she was the epitome of cheerfulness and dynamism. Emily was always a spirited child, fond of outdoor adventures, and even explored every nook and cranny of the neighborhood where she lived on her own. The girl is not only intelligent, but also very sociable, always finding ways to make new friends and not hesitating to share smiles with those around her. Parents in the area all love the girl for her quick wit and kindness, as she is always ready to help anyone in need. However, everything changed after the big shock. That failed kidnapping, although unsuccessful, was a terrible disaster for Emily. The girl not only had to face her fears, but was also deeply affected psychologically. After that event, Emily was no longer the cheerful, lively girl she used to be. The girl became silent, her eyes filled with sadness, as if the whole world around her had turned into chaos. Every time someone tried to approach and talk, Emily could only shake her head, her gaze distant and full of helplessness. The girl couldn't say a word. The pain that the girl had to endure could not be expressed in words, and perhaps that she locked the door to her soul tightly so that no one could enter. However, in that moment of sorrow, a special friend came to her side. That was Rex, the service dog unlike any other animal. Rex was once a loyal police dog, having fought in many tense and dangerous situations, but in a confrontation with criminals, Rex was severely injured. Taken to the hospital, Rex lay motionless on the operating table, as if fighting against himself to survive. It was Dr. Laura Bennett, known for her dedication and exceptional healing skills, who helped Rex overcome his injuries and saved the dog's life. After Rex recovered, Dr. Bennett felt that this dog needed a place to continue contributing and living with purpose. And it was at that moment that Emily stepped into Rex's life. When she was taken to the hospital for a health check after the failed kidnapping, Emily accidentally met Rex. Both, although without words, had an immediate connection. Rex, with his strong protective instinct, sensed the pain in the little girl's heart and seemed to realize that she was the one who needed protection the most. Emily, though unable to express it in words, felt the safety and affection that Rex provided. They began to communicate through simple yet meaningful gestures, and during that time, a strong friendship blossomed between them. Rex is not just an ordinary dog to Emily. He is the only friend who can understand her without saying a word. Whenever Emily wanted to express an emotion, whether it was joy, sadness, or fear, Rex could always recognize it and respond with protective actions. They became an inseparable duo. Sometimes Emily just needed to look into Rex's eyes to feel at ease. Both are a testament to the unspoken connection, a profound friendship that transcends all boundaries between humans and animals. With Rex's help, Emily gradually opened up. The girl no longer felt alone in her pain, and over time, Rex became an important emotional support in her life. The girl was no longer trapped by the painful silence. With every step Emily took, every gesture, she carried with her Rex's unconditional support. Gradually, Emily began to communicate with those around her, but only Rex truly understood her, and the two continued to write a wondrous story of friendship. As life gradually stabilized after the shock, Emily and Rex not only survived, but also became a model of mental strength and love. While Rex protects the little girl from the invisible dangers in the surrounding world, Emily also becomes a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience and the ability to recover from suffering. Though silent, the little girl found her voice through action, and with Rex by her side, it suddenly became less frightening. It was during those challenging days that the bond between Emily and Rex became a symbol of unbreakable connection. And now, in this courtroom, all of that is being reenacted with deep emotion, as a testament to the perseverance of both humans and animals in the face of harsh circumstances. The courtroom fell silent once again, but this time the silence was not one of calmness. It was a tense silence that made everyone hold their breath. All eyes were on Emily, the 5-year-old girl still sitting quietly next to Rex, but strangely, the girl pointed her finger at Richard Hale. Emily's slender fingers pointed straight at him, while Rex, as if understanding the meaning of that gesture, growled fiercely, stirring an undercurrent in the courtroom. Everyone couldn't help but notice the dog's reaction. It wasn't just growling out of a normal protective instinct, but as if it were emphasizing something very important. As soon as this sign was given, a passerby unexpectedly stood up. Martha Jenkins, an unknown witness, testified that she had witnessed the scene from outside. She detailed that before Rex started growling, Emily had clearly pointed at Richard Hale. This is a strong confirmation that the investigation team cannot overlook. A seemingly minor detail has opened up a major turning point in the case. For those who cannot read the signs from Emily and Rex, they might just consider it a coincidence. But for the investigators, this seemed like a clear sign from the girl that she knew the person who could be the culprit. With new information from Martha Jenkins, the investigation team decided to continue examining all the details of the case more meticulously. They went back to examine Richard Hale's car, a car that had previously shown nothing unusual. But this time, when the experts re-examined every nook and cranny of the car, they discovered something suspicious. In the luggage compartment, they found a soil sample, not ordinary soil, but soil with a very distinct characteristic. This soil sample, when compared with the soil sample collected from the isolated cabin near the forest, matched immediately. That is the type of soil containing special impurities that are not found everywhere. That isolated cabin, where a girl named Emma Sullivan was once kidnapped, has now become a focal point in the investigation. The investigation team quickly noticed an undeniable connection. This soil sample is not just a lifeless material, but a part of the truth that is gradually revealing itself. They decided to go to the secluded cabin to gather more evidence and examine the remaining traces. And at that moment, Rex once again became an important figure in the investigation. When led to the area near the cabin, Rex reacted strongly, no longer just an ordinary dog. Rex was not only alert, but also extremely anxious, as if something extremely dangerous was hidden in this place. Even the dog growled and tried to pull hard on the leash as if wanting to rush into that area to protect Emily from something invisible. Rex's reaction made the investigators think seriously. Could this dog recognize the truth without having to see it? Or could Rex be the key to unlocking the dark secrets that are being hidden? Rex's strong reaction is not a simple sign. The investigation team is increasingly realizing that this dog is not just an ordinary pet. The connection between Rex and this case seems inseparable. The dog not only protects Emily, but also seems to have a special connection with the events happening around her. Does Rex know something that the investigators have not been able to find out? Could it be that Rex had met Richard Hale before? And if so, could their relationship help solve this case? Doubts began to form in the minds of the investigators. They began to delve deeper into Rex's past, examining every tiny detail that could be related to him. After a period of investigation, a surprising detail emerged. When Rex was still a police dog, he participated in many major operations. One of those important missions was to capture criminals linked to an international crime syndicate. During one of the arrests, Rex and Richard Hale had met. Hale, although not a member of the police force, happened to be present at an incident involving the criminals Rex was tracking. No one knows the details of their interaction at that time, but the important thing is that Richard Hale was present at an investigation, something no one could have expected. The entire investigation team began to realize that there was a terrifying connection between Richard Hale and Rex, a connection that, if clarified, could open the door to the truth. Hale is not just a software engineer, but he may also have connections with the criminals that Rex has faced. Rex, with his special abilities, can detect the scent of criminals or signs that only service dogs like him can perceive. The feeling of unease among the investigators grew stronger. If Rex had realized something in the past, then perhaps everything is becoming clearer than ever. At that moment, an unexpected event occurred. While the investigation team continues to search for a connection between Richard Hale and Rex, they receive a new report from data analysis experts. The results from the electronic investigations show that Richard Hale had accessed several websites related to organized crime, kidnapping, and murder cases that Rex had previously investigated. All the pieces are gradually coming together, and it seems a bigger picture is forming. Richard Hale is not just an innocent person, as he claimed, but he might be part of a larger plan, a plan that Rex was the first to recognize. The investigators are now certain that Rex, with his special abilities, is the key factor in solving the case. This dog is not only Emily's friend, but also a living witness, an indispensable part in unraveling the dark secret that Richard Hale is trying to hide. Everything is ready to reach the climax, and the only question left is, do they have enough time to decode all the secrets before the real culprit reveals themselves? Finally, when everyone thought the case had come to an end, an important witness appeared. Emma Sullivan, the girl who had been kidnapped and was fortunate enough to be rescued. The girl, though still very young, could not erase the memories of that incident. Emma, with her clear yet pained eyes, stood before the court and began recounting the details she had witnessed about Richard Hale. The girl's story left everyone in shock. She recounted Hale's actions, how he deceived and tried to cover up his crimes. Part of Emma's story is about Rex's appearance during the crucial moments when the girl was held captive in the isolated cabin, a detail that the investigation team had never considered before. Rex, with the instincts of a service dog, recognized the truth that none of them could see immediately. When Emma recounted these details, Richard Hale, who had previously been confident in his testimony, began to feel the pressure from all sides. He fell silent, his eyes no longer sharp and calm as before. The truth began to fill the courtroom, and that made him unable to continue denying. Each testimony from Emma, each detail she revealed, gradually caused the layers of Richard Hale's facade to crumble. He began to feel that he had no choice but to change his testimony. The price to pay for the lies was too great, and in the end, Richard Hale confessed to his crime. He bowed his head, not in pride, but in submission to justice and truth. The change in Richard Hale's testimony is a significant turning point. The court no longer needed any further evidence to convict him. His confession, along with Emma's testimony, was enough to bring him to justice. The court has ruled Richard Hale has been sentenced to life imprisonment. He will never have the chance to return to society, and with the crimes he has committed, this is completely deserved. Justice has been served, not only for the crimes of a man, but also for the courage of a little girl who stood up to defend the truth. Emma, although small, has become a model of courage and perseverance in the fight against evil. Finally, the case has been closed and justice has been restored to the innocent. But the story of Emily and Rex continues, not only in the hearts of those who participated in the trial, but also in the hearts of those who witnessed the extraordinary friendship between the girl and her loyal dog. Although Emily still couldn't speak completely like before, she was able to talk again, even if only with short words. She turned to Rex, her eyes brimming with tears but full of gratitude, and whispered, "Thank you, Rex." These were the first words Emily could utter after a long period of silence, and they carried a special meaning. Not only because Rex is the girl's loyal friend, but also because Rex's unconditional support has helped Emily regain some of her mental strength and ability to communicate. Their friendship is not just a connection between humans and animals, but a testament to unconditional love and resilience in overcoming adversity. The entire courtroom fell silent. Everyone, from the judge to the lawyers, from the investigators to the witnesses, was moved by this special friendship. Emily and Rex, in that moment, became symbols of loyalty and unwavering perseverance. Their story did not just end with Richard Hale's conviction, but also opened a new chapter in the life of the little girl and her loyal friend. At this moment, when all the questions about the case had been answered, when justice had been served, Emily could finally breathe a sigh of relief. She no longer felt lonely in this world because of Rex, the dog who had helped her regain her confidence and hope. And when Emily whispered her thanks to Rex, the courtroom, enveloped in a solemn atmosphere, could not help but feel the sacred affection the girl had for her friend. Every step Emily takes after this case, despite the difficulties ahead, Rex will always be by her side, protecting and supporting her. They will overcome every challenge together, and no matter how complicated the world outside may be, their friendship will always be the most steadfast support in Emily's life. The story of Emily and Rex is not just a journey in search of justice, but also a profound lesson about the intangible yet extremely important values in life. Loyalty, resilience, in adversity, and the strength of friendship are the core elements that helped Emily overcome her fears, recover from the shock, and find her voice again. These things cannot be measured by any physical standard, but they are the invisible source of strength that helped Emily stand firm in the darkest moments. Rex, the loyal dog, is not only a companion in Emily's daily life, but also her strongest spiritual protector. Rex's loyalty, though inexpressible in words, helped Emily overcome her loneliness and silence. The dog not only protected her from physical danger, but also gradually helped her open up and regain her ability to communicate. Rex's courageous actions throughout the investigation not only helped uncover the truth, but also revealed hidden secrets. Rex, with his sharp instincts and absolute loyalty, became a living witness, an indissoluble friend in the fight for justice. From the story of Emily and Rex, we also realize that major changes in life sometimes do not come from grand decisions, but rather from unexpected relationships and wonderful friends we never anticipated. Emily could not have found her strength without Rex by her side, and it was this wonderful friendship that opened a new path for her. Not all great changes need to be grand or prominent events. Sometimes just a loyal friend, a quiet support, can make a huge difference in someone's life. Ultimately, the story of Emily and Rex serves as a reminder of the value of genuine relationships in life. Loyalty, resilience, and friendship are invaluable gifts that we need to cherish as they can help us overcome any challenge. As long as we have good friends by our side, we will always have enough strength to stand firm and triumph, even when life presents us with tough challenges. So, the story today has come to an end. Hope you had some relaxing and enjoyable moments with us. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other exciting stories. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos. Wishing you all a wonderful day.